far as me personally. So I'm not quite sure like where you kind of want to go.
I want to go wherever you want to go. I love talking to creative people.
Yeah.
You know, I love talking to entrepreneurs because I feel like we're a rare breed. Even if you're working a traditional 9-to-5 job and you're still doing your own thing, I still look at that as a stepping stone to like creating your freedom. And because freedom is, that's what I'm all about. Yeah. Create your own opportunity, you know, buy back your time. Yeah. And you're doing it. Yeah. You know,
and that's the one thing that's like keeping me from going back. Like even if there's like struggles, I'm just like, I can't give up that freedom.
Right.
Like that, like that means everything to me now.
Oh my God. Yes.
It's like once you have a taste of that, it's just like, I can't even imagine.
And people don't realize that like you have the opportunity to change your life. Now you're not married.
Correct.
No kids.
No kids.
No kids.
I mean, I would love to. Yeah.
Come on, guys. We got an eligible bachelorette right here, and she sews, so she can help you with your buttons and stuff, you know, and your cuffs or whatever. Yeah. And this is what I want to stress to all the creators: get your goddamn camera up and just start filming. Document your life. And get your brand out there. Okay, I look kind of cute. Yeah, you look cute. It's all about you, sorry. It's all about you. Hey guys, this is your girl, Tam Cam, always Tam Cam, and welcome to another episode. Now, you know this channel is all about interviewing creatives, and today I have the beautiful Chelita McDuffie. We just met like a month or so ago here at the South Dallas Culture Center, and we've tried so many times and I was getting to the point where I was like, oh my God, I hope this girl don't hate me. Because I'm gonna be honest, and I definitely want to leave this in because this is true. Like my ear, you know, do not put a Q-tip in your ear because my ear was stopped up for like, I don't know, like over a week. So I almost felt like I got used to it. And I had to order a special tool to clean out. Okay, I know that's too much information. But anyway, that's what happened. That prevented the first one. And then I moved somewhere. And then it took a while to get here, to make a long story short. All right. But at any rate, I used to try to sew during the pandemic. I made this beautiful dress. So when I met you, I was like, oh my God, I can get back into sewing again because I just moved into my new place and found my sewing machine. So I definitely want to take your class. Yeah. Well, because my dress I made during the pandemic was the bomb. So tell everyone who you are, how long you've been doing your thing, being a creative, and what you got going on today. Because I saw that newscast, that commercial you showed me. You were on the news.
Yeah. Well, again, yes. So my name is Chelita. I'm a designer. I'm also a sewing instructor. I have been sewing since I was a little girl. I would say probably around 7, 8-ish. So I grew up with my grandparents, and so my grandmother, she let me play with her stash of like needle and thread and all these things. And so I used to take that and make clothes for my dolls. And so then like from there it really just kind of grew. It was really just this progression of interest. Interestingly enough, I think while I was in school, I didn't really understand what a fashion designer was. I didn't know that I was going to be a designer. And it wasn't really until like I got to college that I was just like, you know what, I can actually design. You know? And I think a lot of that is because probably where I'm from, like just the neighborhood. So I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia. You know, I'm now in Dallas, of course. But at that time, like it wasn't a lot of people around me or no people around me that I knew that sewed or was a designer or anything like that. So I'm just like, it was just something I thought was fun, you know, that I just liked doing. Not really realizing, you know, like what that was or what that could lead to. So I started designing in college, you know, kind of played around, only designed for friends and family, little things like that. And then I kind of threw myself into a fashion show. I think Raw Dallas was my first fashion show back in like 2012 or something like that. And then it just kind of took off from there. And, you know, I still worked in corporate America. I worked in product development for a jewelry company and sales for jewelry, as well as an accessory company. So I got a lot of that backhand, you know, manufacturing experience and all that stuff.
Working closest to your dream.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And still not even really realizing, like, okay, you know, just really just kind of, because I actually didn't start in that industry when I first started working. I was in college. I was going to school for business, not even design. And I started working at a company that's under Boeing. So I'm like, I'm in aircraft parts, like, you know, and logistics. And like, how did I dive into jewelry? You know, I got laid off from that job. And kind of found like another job that didn't last, and then hopped over to that company into sales, not really knowing what to expect and all that stuff, but was there and the accessory company after for about a decade, and I was like, I'm tired of the corporate life. And that part during that time, you know, I just really felt like that my creativity was really stifled. Like I felt like I was just drained, I was burnt out, and so I really was just like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I didn't like what I was doing in corporate anymore. It was stressful. Like it got to the point where I was starting to have headaches because the job that I was doing was very demanding, especially like after COVID time. You know, it was my job to make sure that there were no problems. And there were many problems at the time. Like you know, lots of problems. So I was always stressed out. I'm doing calls with the factory at like 10 o'clock at night, you know, midnight,
because
6 a.m. in the morning. 6 a.m. in the morning, and then still having to go to work and still do 9 to 6, you know. So it felt like my entire life was work. And so creatively, I was like
depleted.
There was nothing left.
I get it.
There was nothing left.
It's what a lot of creatives go through. You know, it's what I went through. You know, I always tell people now I'm not employable, and I know that might sound a little conceited or a little
same.
Like, because the moment I test the waters, you know, because I need a little more cash flow, I self-sabotage myself. Or I start taking over like I'm the leader, you know, and I pretty much get in trouble right there. Or it backfires and they do make me the leader. And so it's like,
now you got those responsibilities again.
Exactly.
And you're stuck into it,
Exactly. And so then I'm mad at myself because now I'm leading somebody and they're not paying me, but I don't like taking orders. But I don't like, you know, leading people who don't want to be led, you know. So how did you get away from Bowen's? Because that's the last job, traditional job.
So Bowen was the first job that I had when I came to college. The last job, there was an accessory. I worked at an accessory company here in Dallas, and I was just not there. Like I was just so exhausted. I was so tapped out, and so I had a meeting with my manager, and I was just like, I don't think I can do this.
It's working out.
I don't think I can do this. And she was understanding and things like that, and you know, I left very, you know, amicably. And I had it on my mind that I wanted to probably leave for a couple months, and I'm telling like my mom and my friends, I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And my mom says, you better not quit that job.
Are you serious? Your mom told you not to leave?
Well, because the thing is, really, too, to be transparent, that was probably the most money that I made, like,
really,
ever. Like I was making great money. Like benefits was great. Like everything.
That's how they get you with the benefits.
The security will
hence
keep
the name
you.
Benefit.
That security will keep you. You know,
it's the trap. It's the dangling carrot in front of your face. But I just feel like, you know, the true security, really nothing's secure. I mean, if you really think about it,
for sure.
Because look at all the federal workers, you know, today that got fired, that thought that was going to be their forever employment. You know, so I mean, if you are looking at this video, quit your job, or, you know, I ain't saying quit your job immediately, but create the exit plan.
Yes, that part. That part. And speaking of the exit plan, I think because I was considering it, like I said, probably for a couple months or so. And I was just thinking like, okay, well, I'll just try to save up a little money.
Right.
You know, and even upon me leaving like my job, they gave me even extra just because we left on great terms. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm like, I have vacation time. So I'm like, okay, great. I got some extra vacation time.
Right,
I have some extra money. I've got some money I've saved up. I can do this.
Okay.
Like, you know.
Right.
And I did. And I thought that I planned well enough.
Okay. What happened?
Then year one, full you know, the first year of entrepreneurship. So yeah, so that was the end of 2022. I left my job. I think that was the end of September or beginning of October.
Okay, 2022.
Yeah, and so that's when I started That's So Creative. So that's what I do full time, teaching, you know, the community how to sew. So doing sewing classes and things like that. And so, you know, I did my first event in November, and I did my first Sip and Sew then. And from there, I got a contact with a school who was just like, we want to bring you on to do some classes with the kids, you know, during a summer school or during the full school year. So I'm like, oh, great. Like, I've got this contract that I've got coming up and all this stuff. And so it was really, what I was thinking that was going to be like, okay, this is a great start. I can do this. Which it was, but I didn't anticipate some of the delays that happened. So me supposing to start in February, I didn't end up starting till July.
Oh, wow.
Because of a lot of the paperwork and the back stuff that was required, certifications I had to get, and different things like that. And so that was really a learning process for me.
I bet. Oh my God.
It was a learning process for sure. But
so you're living off the savings, the earnings from your previous job at the time.
Yes, I was living off that. And so what I thought probably would only take me probably just a couple or 3 months or so. I had to figure out other ways
so what was
to manage.
Another way that you started earning money? So I did get a part-time job at the time. I was helping someone with her boutique. Okay.
And that was fine for, you know, when it lasted, but it wasn't a whole lot of money.
Right.
And, you know, so I still designed and stuff like that to try to keep me afloat. But then I also had to, especially once I did start working, what happened also was that I was working, but then I couldn't get paid until afterwards. So now I have to front more money for materials. And I was probably worked for a good like 6 weeks or so for free, basically, until I could get paid. And so that starting to work in July, the real money didn't probably start flowing in until like August, September. So, and then it started to be like a backlog. So once that started, then I was getting caught up on stuff and things like that. But I'm like, during that time, I mean, full transparency.
Wow.
Okay. Full transparency. Okay. You know, credit cards, 401k had to come through and save me.
Wow.
You know, like it was tough. It was definitely tough. So, I would definitely say, you know, anyone who's looking to start their entrepreneurship journey to make sure capital is really important. But also making sure that your credit and stuff like that is really is in great shape, or at least decent shape anyways, because mine's was my credit was pretty fine at the time. But you just never know what could happen. The different things that you know, things in the economy that could happen, that could really push you off, and you're just like, you have to have some type of backup plan, to kind of make it through, because I was not expecting that to happen.
Oh my God.
It did, you know. So but you know, year one was really tough for me, but year two we picked it up in high gear. So I've been kind of just slowly progressing since then.
When you say we, do you have a team with you?
So it's just me. I mainly teach, but then I do have like whenever I need like assistant, then I do have like the people that I kind of go to help me assist with classes and stuff like that. And then also I would say my team is also my community, like my close community.
Yeah.
You know, my friends who support me.
Right.
If I need help, like they'll come through and you know, it's just like, okay, all right, we got you.
That's awesome.
So so I mean, I definitely, you know, consider them, and especially the organizations that I work with, like the South Dallas Community Center. Has been a big supporter of mine,
which we're here right now.
Which we're here right now. And a lot of the other libraries and stuff like that I still, you know, have constant classes and contact with. So
So I want to jump into the future. So in a perfect world, where would Miss McDuffie, would want to be? Yeah. So in the future, I would love to have a makerspace. I want a makerspace for that's specifically focused in design, and also other collaborative arts around design. That's something that's not really here in Dallas. Like, there's plenty of maker spaces here. There's plenty of co-working spaces and things like that. And you may go a few places and they may have a few sewing machines there, but there's not a true focus in design. And I think that with a lot of the shift, especially from like LA to Dallas, a lot of, you know, the fashion world, Dallas is trying to grow in that area. And so I think that with a makerspace that really can help to grow creatives in that field, show them how to sew, but also show them entrepreneurship and, you know, fashion and design, show them what manufacturing looks like, you know, all these different things. Because we do have fashion schools here. We, you know, college, we have Wade, we've got, you know, TWU, UNT, they all have fashion programs. But I think what's missing is a true kind of just like focus area. You know, and for the people who may not want to go to school, you know, for it, like, and pay a gazillion dollars for fashion school because it's not cheap. It's not cheap. To be your designer. Okay, so for someone who's interested in sewing, are there many avenues of having that technique that you can enter? Because being a designer is one thing, which is, you know, to me, that's a glamorous career where you're, you know, designing for fashion models and celebrities. But can you just be a seamstress, or I mean, what other careers?
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, even if you go into just a corporate world, right? Like, so you're just like, you know what, I don't really want to do this for myself, but I want to, you know, work in corporate. You know, you have the designer who specifically made just design. They're not the ones who's actually sewing. You have product development who may just come up with the concepts, which is where I was in. I was in product development. And I worked closely with the designers. You have the actual seamstresses. If you want to be a tailor, you can be a tailor. You can do alterations, whatever, and there's many ways you can go with that.
Because you can do costume design for
you can do costume design. You can be a stylist.
I know this one lady, she designs pet wear. And she was much like you. She grew up sewing. Her dad owned a sewing company or whatever, and she grew up knowing that technique, and now she does it for pet couture design. I did a little bit of pet. You did?
I did a little bit of pet product. How did that go? My last job in accessories, it was interesting.
Oh, okay.
It was interesting to say the least.
You like, I like people better.
It was also new for them, so it was like we were all trying to figure it out at the time. But and then also you can be a pattern maker. You know, and pattern, if you're like a master pattern maker, you know, you can make a lot of money. A lot of money. Like, people think that a lot of the money is in the actual design, but a lot of it is really in, like, if you are really great at pattern making.
Do you see your career just kind of like I see me as a photographer? You know, like my industry is kind of fading away because of this AI revolution. Do you see your industry kind of, you know, fading, or is there a future for what you do?
I mean, I don't think that it's fading away. I think AI kind of helps to just enhance maybe just like the process flow a little bit. But I think because
I mean, even with the machinery getting so advanced, do you ever think about that? Because I think about that a lot. I mean, honestly, I got 2 phones that people are using, and they are amazing for pictures and videos.
Yeah. You know what? I don't think that I've seen, as far as maybe like on the design side, it being affected so much. But I also think that it also depends on like which area you're in. Like if you're in manufacturing, or if you're like if you're working more so like the tech packs or the 3D design and things like that, like there's software that you can use to help you create, and I think with AI and the new technology that we have, it just makes the process a lot easier. So maybe in that instance you may not need as many I guess people who do the illustrations. You may not need as many people who is really doing maybe some of the 3D work, or who's grading, or who's kind of doing the back end part to it, before it actually kind of hit shelves, or hit manufacturing just in general. But I feel like there's a software, for instance, where you can get a full scan of someone's body. Okay. And so now, the measurements are super exact. Right. So now, that then just allows you to just be more accurate when designing. Right. So I feel like it's just aiding more in the process. Okay. So then that tedious work and just making it more accurate and things like that, I feel like is the biggest thing that's kind of happening now. You being able to see fabric on like a body before it's actually
instead of having to sketch it out.
Wow. So things like that.
You think that technique is going to fade away, or you think that will never get away from this industry where someone is a true designer and they're sketching out? Because honestly, one of my favorite shows, like back in the day, and God, I wish it was still on. You know what I'm about to say? Project
Runway. And when the lady had called me after I got off with WFAA talking about the fabric swap, she called me and she was just like, I just saw you on WFAA, and I just want to tell you, like, it was so good seeing, a beautiful dark-skinned Black woman on TV, just talking about sewing and different things like that. Yeah. And, and she was telling me her story about how, she was going to donate the fabric to me, for the fabric swap and things like that. And she was like, I've been struggling with it because I guess her mother sewed, and so a lot of the fabric belonged to her mother, but she was holding on to it to
make sure it went to the perfect place.
To make sure it goes to the perfect place. And so and she was like, when I saw you, she was like, I believe that was God telling me like that now it's time to let go, and so and that's what she wanted to do, and so she's like, so I have some, I could drop it off today. I was like, I'll meet you up there or whatever, and so she actually ended up coming a little earlier than when I than she had said, I guess, when I got there. So when I pulled up, it was still a little earlier, so I was like, okay, I'm just waiting for her to come. And then I saw her. Well, I didn't know it was her, but she had walked out, and she had looked at me, and I looked at her, and I was still sitting in my car, so I was just like, okay, I don't know who that is, and then someone came up, she was like, do you know her? Right. And then I was like, no. She was like, oh, she just did a donation. I was like, oh, and and so we spoke, and we talked a little bit more, just outside. I gave her a big hug and all that, and I was just super appreciative, like. I think it was really, I think moments like that really, solidifies what I'm doing, and it encourages me to keep doing, doing what I'm doing.
And the people are watching, even if they're not responding immediately or online. If you're doing something openly to the public, they're watching. If you're doing something against the grain, they're watching.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm like, kids are watching, like. And so I'm just like, kids, adults, everyone, like everyone they have something, right? Like everyone's looking for inspiration, like we're saying, everyone's looking, like a lot of people just like, I don't know if I like sewing, I don't know, but I just want to try it because I just want to see what my, and some people find their passion in it. Right. So I always want to make sure that you know, whenever I'm teaching, what I'm doing, like, I try to really give it, you know, everything, you know, because people really come in looking, you know, looking for that. And even if it's just community, like, they just love being able to just have community with people.
Exactly.
So
I truly believe in that.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Exposure is really important. Like, and just ask questions, seek out, use Google, use your resources, find resources, you know. And once you do something, I feel like you said, like, it's going to work out. Right. Whether you know, you may have some pitfalls, you're going to have some pitfalls. You're going to.
Sure.
You can't get away from that. But, you know, just having a plan, find a mentor. There are mentors, there are free mentors out there. Find a mentor, find someone who's doing something that you will want to do, and don't be afraid to reach out.
Absolutely. I just kind of went into a zone. I felt like you were talking to me. All right.